Say never. Never say never again. I think I'm going to do my final Brexit prediction. I'm just looking at Barnier, the 3 p.m. today, the explanation to the European Parliament and the infernal fish question. And I can't see it not happening. I can't see there not being a deal now. And here is what I think is going to happen. They will announce the free trade agreement, possibly before Christmas. I'm not doing predictions on timings. And it will involve quite serious concessions from Boris Johnson on the publicly stated desire with regard to fish. The European Union will barely budge on the level playing field stuff. That's always been more or less inviolate. But I don't know what Johnson was hoping to achieve. I think he probably sincerely believed that the insistence on the inviolability of the four freedoms was negotiable or something like that, and he was just wrong. But anyone could have made that mistake. I'm not being glib or facetious. Even I could muster up when I wanted to, just a sense that, well, you can't treat a country that's leaving after 50 years, give or take, in exactly the same way as you treat a country that had never been a member at all. And that does actually feel a bit unjust. But, of course, we're back to the first analogy of them all, which is the one about gym membership. You decide to leave the gym. They don't care how long you've been a member for. If they find you in the showers, they're going to call the police. So, and on the fish, it's going to be sufficiently complicated to get over the line. So, 5-year phase-in periods with a compromise also likely on the application of tariffs. The Guardian reports possible export bans on goods where fishing access changes after the phase-in period. Are you bored yet? So the real headbangers, the people who I was really thinking of when I said eventually if we don't call them out for their nonsense, then we will end up shouting about fish and nothing else. Okay, so they will not be happy. Those people will not be happy, but they will never be happy. Many of them have already moved on to other things, like claiming that we don't need lockdowns. So there will be a deal. It will involve the European fishing fleets pledging to reduce their catch in British waters by X percentage points over X number of years. That is what they're now arguing about, I understand. That's not a prediction, that's just reading. So the reduction, and it's all meaningless, of course, because the quotas largely flogged off to foreign fishing vessels anyway, but it doesn't matter. Fish, fish, fish. It's all that was ever going to be left on the table if we didn't come to our senses in time, and we didn't, and that ship has sailed. That trawler has disappeared over the horizon, and we are where we are. I don't think that the tale of the furiously hard of thinking conservative backbenchers is going to wag the dog on this one. I think Johnson is going to tell them, tough, we've got to sign a deal. I mean, just look what happened. Turns out we don't control our borders. You can only ever control half a border. This is the point that Brexit missed in its most fundamental essence. You can only ever control your side of a border. And if you don't understand, have a look at the M20. That's our border. How much control are we exercising over it at the moment, lads? Yeah, bonjour, creme de menthe. So that's what's going to happen. Something that, I mean, God knows what they will thrash out, but it will be a staged reduction in the amount of fish that foreign fleets can take out of British waters, except, of course, the foreign fleets that have bought huge numbers of the quotas that we are supposed to have anyway. So it's going to be complicated, but that will be the announcement. And the real headbangers will go nuts. Farage will be furious, which is, like night following day. Or at least he'll do a bit of performative fury. And then he'll try and sell you some magic beans. So that's what's going to happen. And it might even happen before Christmas. I don't know. So Johnson is going to, and I think I won't be able to keep this up, all right? Nobody's perfect. So I try not to say compromise. Or rather, I try not to say roll over, buckle, surrender, because then we're back to the footballification of it. And that match is over. The referendum is lost. Remain is no longer an option. So I feel this impulse rising in me to point out, with a side order of I told you so's, to point out that this is the opposite of what he said he was going to do. And of course, if you are still wearing your Johnson scarf, you may end up cheering the polar opposite of what you swore blind you voted for. But it doesn't matter. We can only play the game that is currently underway. And that is, can we please rescue some sort of free trade agreement from the chaos and carnage of Brexit? Particularly now that we've seen just how much control we exercise over the Dover to Calais crossing. And I think he will compromise, and that's a good word, and it's a good thing to do. Even with everything on the road behind us, all the unnecessary disasters and all the big problems ahead, in the simple, pure context of this negotiation, he will compromise on fish and will get something over the line. And then maybe 6 days before it all is supposed to start happening, British businesses, British farmers, British fishermen will begin to get a clearer, because it won't be clear for a while, but clearer idea about what their future is going to look like.